Welcome to Beyond Four Walls. Each week, we sit down with leaders, creators, and change makers to uncover the moments, pivots, and lessons that shape their success in business and life. Today on Beyond Four Walls, we're joined by Jackie Prince. She's the founder of Guests on Earth, a Toronto-based home care brand that is reimagining cleaning as a sustainable, design-forward experience. With a background in brand strategy, Jackie turned a pandemic epiphany about waste and wellness into a purpose-driven business that's redefining what clean really means at home. Welcome, Jackie, and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You are so welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. We were just chatting that really the journey for Guests on Earth started during the pandemic.
Yes.
And a lot of our guests have had that same experience where that aha moment for their business really was validated and came to them during the pandemic. So tell us a little bit about that starting point in your journey.
Yeah, it's funny. I do think that there's so many small businesses that kind of had that impetus or aha moment during that time.
Mm-hmm.
In my case, I was working from home and I had two very young kids, and I was, it was the time where everyone was so panicked, and you're like Lysoling the shit out of.
Yeah.
Can you say shit?
Yeah, totally fine.
You're just like you're Lysoling the crap out of everything.
Actually cleaning our groceries.
Yeah, remember when that was a thing? So I was doing that, and I never had paid attention to really like cleaning at all, or what I was using, or how it felt when I was using it. And I think because I had these small kids and I was spraying this stuff everywhere,
Mm-hmm.
I started to, and I was like inhaling it and smelling it, and like I was like, what's actually in here that I'm just putting everywhere around my home? And then I have these like little guys crawling around, and that was a bit of an aha, like, oh, this is actually pretty. I'm using this to protect my family, but in fact, it's probably doing the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So I started looking more into just ingredients and clean, and then also just at the same time became hyper aware of the amount we were consuming during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So like when it seemed like we weren't doing much of anything at all, and then you'd go to bring your bins out, there was just a bunch of like plastic jugs and like, these single-use plastic items in the bins.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started looking more into this space, and I was like, there's got to be a more enjoyable, less wasteful way to engage in this, space in this category.
What's fascinating is like you have no background in chemistry, product formulation. You worked in brand and creative. I think you were at TikTok. And an agency. You've worked with brands in travel and retail.
Yeah.
Like that must have been like, was that overwhelming to be like, I'm literally going to be creating like a physical product? Like I have an idea for this. Like how did you even get there?
I think the fact that I knew nothing about creating a physical product helped me believe that I could create a physical product. So my background is really in communication. So I was creative strategist or brand planner or whatever you want to call that at ad agencies and then tech. And what that meant is like you're the person responsible for really figuring out what's important to customers. So what's missing for them in a category? What do they like about brands or products that exist in the category? What are the pain points? What are their frustrations? And then helping the brands that you work with figure out how to communicate their value propositions around, like based around what's important to people. Sometimes in the space, you'll see like a really cool campaign that kind of manifested a product or like an iteration of a product, but at its base, it's communications. But because of my background in communications and like brand planning, I just am wired around like what's interesting to people and what do people want and what are people talking about. And so for me in this category, I was a frustrated customer, and like immediately that moment of like, oh, surely I'm not the only person who feels this way. Like everything about this category kind of sucks. Like it looks the same as it looked 50, 60 years ago. It's all single-use plastic. Even if you're using toxic ingredients or you're not, like maybe it doesn't work very well or whatever. So there's something missing here. And then I started kind of running my own research process as I would if I was a client. Like if I had commissioned myself as a client, going deep into the Reddit threads and like, what are people saying? What exists out there and what's missing, and kind of where can is there room? Like, does it make sense to even bring something else to market?
Tell me about the packaging. I mean, it's so beautiful, and being in, the home design space with my startup Homekin, like it's really about how products are making you feel. Like, do they look beautiful on your counter? I love the branding so much. I love the name. Given that you worked in that field before, were you the brand strategist for this?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't
I'm
hire
like,
someone to help.
Let's find as much free work as I can. I'm like, so that's the thing. The kind of branding and brand identity and positioning is like what I know how to do, and the communications piece. But I knew nothing about, product design, supply chain, logistics.
Was there any other name on the table?
So it's funny, Guests on Earth was the first name that came to me. And then I went through a process to beat it because I've done, in my old roles, I've done like naming work before, and it's really fun. It's really difficult to name something, as anyone who's named anything, will know. So I went through a process to beat it, and I had another front runner, and then we just kept coming back to Guests on Earth, and somehow the URL was available.
Amazing.
The Instagram handle was available. TikTok. Which was so I couldn't believe it. Which is
actually like really challenging.
Yes. So I grabbed him, and the name does so much for us because we actually lead a lot with, like, from a communication standpoint, we lead with enjoyment and kind of wellness in the product experience, and then sustainability is just kind of our backbone. It's so important to everything we do and we build, but I believe that it's becoming more table stakes, and that there's some customers who, like, that is maybe the most important thing that they care about. However, if something doesn't perform really well, and if something isn't actually like a great experience or enjoyable to use, you're not going to keep coming back to it. So the packaging is so the vessels are all aluminum and reusable, and the idea is you just buy them once, and then everything that we make is hyper concentrated. So like our mission at Guests on Earth is to make cleaning more joyful and less wasteful. So we have more joyful through the product experience, the look, the feel, the textures, the scents. We have like aromatherapy elements with our essential oil blends. They're so good.
You have a new scent too, right?
We have a new scent for laundry, which is called Green Hinoki, which is so good.
Yeah.
And then the formats. So the little pouches make 5 full bottles of product.
Wow.
And we're the only premium brand that does concentrated refills according to function.
I also love on your website how you have the customer fill out a quiz.
Yes,
I think that's so smart, and I really enjoyed filling that out. Because,
what did you get?
I think I got woodlands. Yeah, because I feel like it's time of year dependent too, right? Like now it's been kind of like rainy and cold, so I like that more like eucalyptus, woodsy kind of vibe.
Yeah, woodlands is having its moment right now.
Yeah, I'm so excited. But like, what a great strategy to get the customer really involved in the process. And I like what you said about cleaning, because like cleaning can be so therapeutic when you're having a bad day, and like it can actually make you feel better and more in a sense of control.
1,000%. And that's it. And that's why I see us as a wellness brand. And I think that is both in terms of the product experience, but also the output. So exactly to your point, the output of a clean space is a heightened well-being and an elevated well-being. And if the experience of getting there is also really lovely, and it's almost like how can we think of this category as more of a beauty space, or like what are the products and the brands that I love to use, and how can I apply the things that I love about them to this space? Yeah,
I love that you compare it to beauty, because I think you can almost compare it to how someone feels about their skincare routine, right? Like cleaning is like very much a routine-oriented process, and it really should make you feel good inside and out. So I think what you're doing is totally amazing. The wellness and obviously home care space is, having a moment. People care about it more than ever.
Yeah.
In terms of your competition, like who do you view as your competitors, and how are you differentiating yourself amongst them?
It's a really good question. So again, like I see us as a wellness brand, not a cleaning brand, but of course the products that we make serve a function, which is to wash and to clean. We have a really interesting space in that we can straddle grocery and also into premium lifestyle. So the full-size bottles, you buy once and they come in retail full, and then ongoing you refill. And with the refill model, the pouches end up diluting to 5 full bottles. So it keeps us at $8 per bottle ongoing, $7 if you're in the States. And that is really competitive in the grocery space, especially given the premium nature of what we're offering here. Our clean ingredients, the scent profiles, the textures, and just the quality of the ingredients that we're using. So I think we're in a really interesting space because we're not just mass grocery. We're not just like luxury exclusive, but we actually offer that premium experience in a way that's still accessible ongoing.
Yeah, I love that accessibility factor. So our audience a lot of them are, aspiring entrepreneurs, women who are maybe going back to work. Let's talk about the real deal with entrepreneurship, because like people look at you and they're like, wow, she's killing it. You're doing like such amazing things. You're growing. You're in retailers. You're, on Instagram. It's really like the highlight reel.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the challenges. You've talked about challenges with supply chain, cost of building the product. Like, there's some really low lows as an entrepreneur. So if you want to highlight maybe any of those on your journey or
totally. How much time do you have? And this too, like anyone who's ever built something, there's definitely like the highs and the lows, and even every day there's highs and lows. I think from an experience standpoint, I had no experience in, as you mentioned, like product and everything that comes along with that. So supply chain, operations, logistics, production management. And so every day I still have learning curves around those spaces, but I'm now in a place where I've been able to kind of attract really amazing people who are so good at those things. And so we're continuing to build that all day, every day. But a big challenge for us was we started to scale. It was both a great thing and a challenge. We started to scale a lot this past January, and it was unexpected, and we didn't have the right amount of inventory to support that growth. So even though we started to order more, it wasn't enough. It wasn't fast enough. It wasn't getting here fast enough. We were out of stock for most of the spring, like spring cleaning.
So what did you tell those customers?
We were on pre-order. And because there's so many components to what we have, like the main kit that we sell, our Great Guest Starter Kit comes with the hand soap vessel, the all-purpose cleaner, the dish, and then the refill pouches for each, and a waffle cleaning cloth, and a dish brush. So that's 11 components if you count each of the – it's a lot of things. So we would run out of one thing, and then we'd run out of we get it back, and we'd run out of the other thing. So we were on pre-order. Every week I was pushing the pre-order back because we'd get some things back, then we'd be out of this thing. Running out of stock sounds great. You sold out, but it's not great. Because it's stressful, it's frustrating for your customers. They want to know that you're reliable as a business and that they can come to you and buy the things that they need when they need to. So that was a really kind of stress point for us. And the way we approached it was to take out some debt to be able to fund some big purchase orders so that we wouldn't be in that situation again. So we placed, really big orders. We created an aggressive production schedule. And it's the balance of storing more inventory versus having to, throw a bunch of stuff on planes because because you have nothing physically here and you can't sell. So that was a bit of a struggle bus,
Yeah, and I think like going from early days, that kind of gritty, scrappy founder mentality to now you talking about scaling more over this past year, your skill set is changing. Like what are sort of like the qualities that you feel you're going to have as Guests on Earth grows? I think there's going to be a shift, right?
Yeah, I think it's about finding, building a really great team of people, and I have an amazing team of people already. I mean, we're very small. There's 2 of us full time, including myself.
Yeah,
I'm onboarding a 3rd person right now, and I have a few amazing part-time people who have been really instrumental in helping us get to where we are, and who will continue to help us scale. But I'm still doing a bunch of I'm still doing all of the unglamorous crap that I was doing. I spent 2 days in the warehouse 2 weeks ago replacing pumps on thousands of laundry items, like capping things, pumping, like hands blistered, like all of. I'm still doing all of that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm still doing all the customer service on the weekends, which I think is really important. Maybe not ongoing every weekend for me to be doing, but I think if you're not staying close to the customer and it's all about the customer and what you're delivering to them or what you're not delivering to them. So, I'm still doing a lot of those things, but it's now this balance of how can I keep myself a bit more up here and really thinking longer term and planning longer term, but then still being able to tactically get everything else done that needs to be done every day. And it's lonely as well.
Yeah.
And it can be difficult to be like the cheerleader every single minute, because you need to be that. Even for myself, like I have to hype myself.
You have to be your biggest cheerleader.
All the time. And that's just what it is. And it's okay to have days where you're like, you know what? I did a few hours this morning. Not many days, because I feel like you do have to be always doing things. But sometimes I think you need to give yourself a little bit of grace, which isn't easy to do when you're, someone who feels that, you're a performer and you need to. And now we're on this trajectory of scaling. And so we need to, we need to keep scaling and scaling, incrementally.
And you guys
significantly.
I don't know if you can talk about that. You just raised?
Yeah, so we just did our first
seed raise.
We did a seed.
And talk about that, because I know there's people watching who or listening who maybe have a business or looking to, do a raise. Talk about that process, how many times you got knocked down, had to keep the energy high.
Yeah.
Let's hear about that.
So I was doing a friends and family raise. I ended up raising kind of from I'd say 50% angels who I had never met before and 50% friends. And one of my first calls pitching was to a friend of mine who I used to work for. I worked for him 15 years ago, and his wife, and we're good friends now. And I kind of got to the meeting and I was wearing like a sweatshirt and I was a bit disheveled, and I was approaching it more as like, I'm talking to my friends about my business.
Right.
And at the end of the meeting, my friend Corrine was like, don't let your comfort make you too comfortable.
Oh, those are words of wisdom.
And that shook me a little bit. And I was so grateful that I was just immediately like, oh, okay. I need to come to every single meeting, whether you're my best friend and you love the product and you believe in the business and you believe in me, the same with the same energy and rigor as I would come to a meeting with, the top investor on my list who I want to, really impress. So that was a really great lesson, and kind of it shook the ego a little bit, because I was like, oh, this is fun. Look at this is going great. And so that was just such a valuable piece of feedback.
What's so great, I think, too, is like you're so supportive of other women entrepreneurs. Like you've been like, you don't gatekeep, you share. How are you finding it? You have 2 boys.
Yeah.
Balancing the craziness of business and motherhood.
The same way as you, or like it's just you. I'll say I have a nanny. I have a full-time nanny. I could not do it without Kathleen at all. My kids know the business. It was actually really cute.
Because I've seen them in your
they're
social.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And they're everywhere. And they use everything, and I've had them make content.
Yeah.
And it's really cute. It was my brother's wedding this past weekend, and my dad put all of the soaps in the restrooms, and I was in the restroom with my older son. He was like washing his hands, and someone from the band walked in. And my son Jasper was like, "These are my mom's soaps."
Oh, that's so sweet.
I was like, "Okay."
That's so sweet.
But it was really cute. So I think, even though sometimes I'm more, I'll be focused on work and it's like, get off your phone, mom, get off your phone.
Mm-hmm.
And in those moments, I'm trying to get off my phone more, like
Mm-hmm.
leaving my phone in my room, at least during bedtime.
Mm-hmm.
But I also, think that it's good for them to see
Yeah, I think it's
both of their
amazing.
parents, working,
Mm-hmm.
because that's what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
We both want to be working, and I love what I'm building, and so I think it's cool for them to see.
I love that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's amazing. And you're a, purpose-driven business. So it's good for everyone.
And also cleaning, like I also really believe that I had, there's the whole thing around the household gender gap and how women
Mm-hmm.
still do the vast majority of unpaid housework.
Right.
And so I also feel really passionately about boys and men doing a fair share around the home and kind of cleaning more and taking up more responsibility there. So I also definitely am always like, hey, and I was very important that I created products that I knew that my kids could pick up and start spritzing and cleaning and,
Yeah.
wiping a counter and like cutting an apple and giving it to my kids. I think that's, I want to know what's in the
In
products
it.
that I'm
Yeah.
using is safe enough that I can do that without thinking I'm poisoning someone.
Yeah. I mean, I like use the spray all the time. And I'm like, because, kids are insane and like they spill things everywhere. It
Everywhere all
feels
the time.
good that you don't feel like it's toxic. And it's like especially with children, I think it's super important.
Yeah.
What advice would you give? I'm going to say like women, but who are maybe thinking about starting something, are scared. Maybe it's an idea that they have had no experience in, like you.
Yeah.
Like what advice would you give to them?
I think a few things. So one, you mentioned community,
Mhm.
and I have found the female founder community incredibly generous and so intelligent and lovely and smart and inspiring. So what I started to do was reach out to women, to female founders that I loved their brands, and I would see if I was connected to them through anyone and ask for an intro, or I would just message them on TikTok
Yeah.
or Instagram and be like, hey, and this was when, we had no followers and we're not huge, we're growing.
You guys
But
have a really strong following.
it's getting,
Yeah.
yeah, it's getting stronger. But so this, at this time we had less than, 1,000 or whatever. And
Yeah.
we're just like a baby brand. But people would get on the phone with me and meet with me um, and give me their time and then introduce me to other people. And it's so important, and
Mhm.
it says so much about, I think, just the community of founders and women and men. Like, shout out to men too, I guess.
Yeah.
But for me, I host like a quarterly female founder hang
Mhm.
where it's just super casual, and people, if women who are in Toronto like come and meet and share. And then we have a Slack group,
Mhm.
which is also really helpful. So, hey, does anyone have a great customer service person? Or, hey, what are we doing about this, about the end of de minimis
Yeah.
and shipping? And so my advice is just start to reach out to people. And if the first few people don't get back to you, just follow up with them or keep reaching out to other people. And eventually you'll start to build your own kind of network of women in the space, and always help other people if, I think it's really important to give, not give back, but yeah, give back. It's really important to share experiences and things, because like we should all be
Elevating
doing
each
that
other.
and helping each other out. So that's one extremely long-winded community, meet people. Podcasts. I'm obsessed with podcasts.
Yeah.
Listen to Beyond Four Walls / In Between Two Friends. I love it. But I think the podcast age is so amazing because you can learn so much about whatever you want. And if there are certain businesses in the space that you're interested in, Google like the founder of that business, comma podcast, and listen to other founders in your space on different types of podcasts. Some are more operational, some are more brandy, some are more strategic, and you can learn so much about like into the nitty gritty of, sales, distribution, operations. Like there's so much out there. So I love a podcast. And certainly if you're not using AI, for support, then
You should be.
you should be.
Are you a morning routine person?
Yes.
People love to hear a good morning routine.
A morning routine. Oh, do I have my morning routine is, feeding my children, making sure they have their clothes on, and that
Are
they
you
brush their teeth.
as hardcore about what they ingest as you are, like, do your kids eat Lucky Charms?
Not Lucky Charms.
Okay.
They don't eat, but so I love candy. I'm a candy girl.
Okay.
And then I try to get them not to eat candy.
Yeah.
So my morning routine involves the fruit by the foot,
Yeah.
a coffee. I don't know. It's just getting them out the door and happy to school and like doing that. And then if I can exercise before my day officially starts, that's amazing.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always happen. And then it's just like I'm rolling into my home office and spending my time with my aluminum bottles here and trying to figure out this business.
You just launched laundry detergent this past June. Tell me what you are excited about in that category and future growth in that category.
So I've never geeked out more about about the chemistry than I have with the laundry detergent. I could talk to you for an hour and a half about laundry detergent, but I won't. Don't worry.
I just used it on our linens, and I'm like, it just feels and smells so good.
So we approached the laundry detergent in a similar way that we approached everything else, where we want you to be able to get more with less. Mm-hmm. So we made this incredibly highly concentrated product that you just need a few pumps. I wish I brought it. You just need a few pumps of it to run a full load. We have such an amazing ingredient profile. Even from a sustainability standpoint, like we have the highest concentration that we know of glycolipids in a laundry product, which are a more emissions-friendly way or a low emissions way of creating, I'm going to mess this up, a surfactant than glucosides, which are also in in laundry. We are free from 1,4-dioxane, which is a hidden chemical. So 1,4-dioxane is a byproduct of ethoxylating alcohols or of ethoxylation.
So that's like in Tide, for sure.
It for sure in Tide, in benzenes or things ending in F, like laureth sulfates and things like that. You'll never see 1,4-dioxane on a label because it's not an added ingredient. It's a byproduct.
Okay.
And it's a known carcinogen, and it's been banned in certain concentrations in New York State. And this isn't to, frighten people or cause but if you can reduce the amount of that kind of thing that you're exposed to, especially when it's on your skin, and, a lot of the ingredients in these products can cause irritations and breakouts, and, you're sleeping on it, you're rubbing your skin against it. So we really wanted to make a product that was great for skin. So we have a new scent called Green Hinoki, and we also have an unscented version for people with sensitive skin.
Okay, so let us know where everyone can find you. I know you're in retailers, DTC. Tell us where you are on social and where people can buy your product.
So guestsonearth.com, at guestsonearth on Instagram and TikTok. You can buy all of our products on our website. We're also available on well.ca, at the Detox Market, at Coco Market, at Erewhon, Happier Grocery. We have a store locator on our website, so you're gonna be seeing us in more and more places.
Amazing.
This and next year, and possibly on Amazon soon as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, can't wait to follow your growth. Love the
Thanks,
product.
Natasha.
Thanks so much for coming, and excited for you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.